I remember the day they fired my father like it was yesterday. I was 19, a summer intern at Carter Dynamics, watching from my cubicle as security escorted him out of the building. 25 years of loyalty ended with a cardboard box and a humiliating walk of shame. Budget cuts, they told him. Nothing personal. But it was personal. I knew because I'd accidentally seen the emails while filing documents for HR. They'd replaced him 2 weeks later with the CEO's nephew. Fresh out of college, no experience, but the right last name. That was 10 years ago. Now, I sat in my private jet reviewing the final acquisition papers for Carter Dynamics. They had no idea that quiet little Emma Carter, the forgotten intern from a decade ago, was about to become their boss. "Miss Carter?" My assistant's voice broke through my thoughts. "The board meeting is scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow. All the paperwork is ready." I nodded, setting down the papers. Perfect. And they still don't know? No, ma'am. The acquisition has been handled entirely through shell companies. As far as Carter Dynamics knows, they're being bought by Horizon Ventures. I smiled, thinking of the look that would cross CEO Thomas Carter's face when he realized who really owned Horizon Ventures. The same man who smirked as he signed my father's termination papers would soon be signing his own. The jet began its descent into Chicago. Through the window, I could see the Carter Dynamics building, 45 stories of glass and steel, crowned with their pretentious logo. Soon, it would all be mine. "Your father called again," my assistant added quietly. "He still doesn't understand why you insisted on him coming to Chicago tomorrow." Dad had no idea what I'd built over the past decade. After his firing, he found work as a high school technology teacher, making barely enough to get by. I'd helped quietly over the years, sending anonymous bonuses through his school, making sure his mortgage mysteriously got paid off. But he never knew it was me. I'd started my company in my dorm room, just like the tech giants everyone worshipped. But unlike them, I stayed in the shadows. No press interviews, no public appearances, no social media presence. The few photos that existed of me were carefully curated to be forgettable. When Forbes tried to profile me for their 30 under 30 list, I declined. Let everyone think Horizon Ventures was run by some faceless corporation. The anonymity gave me freedom to build, to acquire, and now to get revenge. The takeover. The next morning, I dressed carefully in a simple navy suit. Nothing flashy, nothing memorable. In the mirror, I looked like any other corporate executive. Perfect. "The board is assembled," my assistant reported, as we pulled up to Carter Dynamics. "Mr. Carter is apparently in quite a good mood. He thinks the Horizon acquisition will let him keep his position as CEO." I checked my phone one last time. A text from Dad. "At the hotel you recommended. Still don't understand why you wanted me in Chicago, sweetheart. Don't you have work today?" "You'll understand soon," I texted back. The security guard barely glanced at my ID badge. Emma Carter, Horizon Ventures representative. I was just another suit to him. Certainly not the woman who would own the building by lunch. The elevator ride to the 45th floor felt familiar. I'd made this trip hundreds of times as an intern, carrying coffee, delivering mail, watching silently as entitled executives made decisions that ruined lives. Carter's secretary jumped up as I entered. "Ms. Carter, Mr. Carter and the board are waiting in the main conference room." I paused at the door, straightening my jacket. Through the glass, I could see Thomas Carter at the head of the table, laughing with his executives. The same laugh I'd heard when he joked about trimming the dead weight after firing my father. The room fell silent as I entered. Carter stood, extending his hand with that practiced corporate smile. "Ms. Carter, welcome. We're so excited about this new chapter with Horizon Ventures." I shook his hand firmly, remembering how he hadn't even bothered to shake my father's hand that last day. "The feeling is mutual, Mr. Carter. Please call me Thomas." He gestured to an empty chair. "Shall we begin?" "Actually," I said, staying standing, "we should wait for one more person." I took the liberty of inviting someone with a particular interest in this acquisition. Carter frowned slightly. I wasn't aware. The door opened and my father walked in, looking confused. He'd aged in the past 10 years, his hair more gray than black now, but he still carried himself with the same quiet dignity. Emma? He looked around the room, clearly puzzled. What's going on? Carter's face went pale. Daniel Carter, what is he doing here? I smiled, pulling out my chair, Carter's chair, at the head of the table. Please, everyone, sit. It's time we had a long overdue conversation about the future of Carter Dynamics. Now see here, Carter sputtered. This is highly irregular. The acquisition agreement, I cut in smoothly, gives me full authority to make any personnel changes I see fit. As the owner of Horizon Ventures and now Carter Dynamics, I intend to exercise that authority immediately. The room went absolutely silent. Carter's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. My father stared at me, understanding slowly dawning in his eyes. You? Carter managed finally. But you're the quiet intern, the one who... Never noticed? I finished for him. The one who fetched your coffee and filed your paperwork? The one who watched you fire her father for no reason except nepotism? I leaned forward. Yes, I'm Emma Carter, and I now own your company. Dad sank into a chair, his face a mix of shock and something else. Pride, maybe. Emma, honey, what did you do? I opened my briefcase and began distributing documents. What I've been doing for the past 10 years, building something bigger than Carter could ever imagine. Horizon Ventures is just one of my companies. We're worth roughly $12 billion as of this morning's market opening. Carter's face had turned an interesting shade of purple. This is impossible. You're lying. Would you like to see the paperwork? I slid a folder across the table. It's all there. Ownership documents, acquisition agreements, transfer of control. As of 9:00 a.m. this morning, Carter Dynamics belongs to me. The board members were all staring at their copies, reality sinking in. They'd just discovered that the young woman they dismissed as a mere representative was actually one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. You can't do this, Carter whispered. I already have. I stood up. And my first act as owner is this. Thomas Carter, you're fired. The words rang out in the silent room. 10 years of waiting, planning, and building had led to this moment. I watched as security entered, my security now, to escort Carter out. You'll regret this, he spat as they led him to the door. You have no idea how to run this company. I smiled, thinking of the empire I'd built while he wasn't looking. Actually, I do. I learned everything about how not to run a company by watching you. Now, shall we discuss the future of Carter Dynamics, or should I say, Carter and Maxwell Technologies? The board members straightened in their chairs, suddenly very attentive. Amazing how quickly loyalty shifted when power changed hands. Dad was still staring at me, tears in his eyes. All this time, I reached over and squeezed his hand. All this time, I was building something worthy of your legacy, Dad. Something that would make things right. But this was just the beginning. Carter's humiliation wasn't enough. I had plans for his precious company, plans that would transform it into something he never had the vision to imagine. The quiet intern he'd never noticed was about to show him exactly what she'd learned in his building. And this was only the first act. The aftermath, the news of Carter's ousting spread through the building like wildfire. By lunchtime, every employee knew that the quiet woman in the simple navy suit wasn't just another corporate representative. She was their new owner, and she'd orchestrated one of the most dramatic takeovers in recent business history. The press is already calling, my assistant reported, handing me a stack of messages. Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Bloomberg. They all want to know how the mysterious CEO of Horizon Ventures managed to stay hidden for so long. I set the messages aside. They can keep wondering. We have more important things to handle first. My father still sat in the conference room, now empty except for us. He hadn't said much since the revelation. just watched as I reorganized his former workplace with quiet efficiency. "Why didn't you tell me?" he finally asked. I sat down beside him. "Would you have let me spend 10 years pursuing revenge?" "No," he admitted. "I would have told you to let it go, to focus on building something for yourself, not tearing others down." "But that's exactly what I did, Dad." I pulled out my tablet, showing him Horizon Ventures' portfolio. "Look, technology innovations, renewable energy projects, educational initiatives. I didn't just build a company to get revenge. I built something that matters." His eyes widened as he scrolled through the projects. "This is incredible. All those mysterious school funding programs, the technology grants. They were from me," I finished. "I wanted to help teachers like you who actually make a difference in people's lives." A knock at the door interrupted us. Carter's nephew, the one who'd replaced my father, stood there looking nervous. "Ms. Carter, I just wanted to explain. About 10 years ago, I never knew." I raised an eyebrow. "Pack up your office, Mr. Carter. Your position has been eliminated." He fled, and I turned back to my father. That felt good, but I wasn't done yet. The new era. The next morning, I called my first company-wide meeting. The main auditorium was packed. Everyone from executives to maintenance staff. They all wanted to see the woman who'd pulled off the impossible. "Many of you knew me 10 years ago," I began, standing at the podium. "I was the intern who delivered your mail, organized your files, and listened while you discussed firing loyal employees to cut costs." The room was dead silent. "Today, I'm your boss, and things are going to change." I clicked to the first slide of my presentation. "Starting now, Carter Dynamics, soon to be Carter and Maxwell Technologies, will implement comprehensive employee protections. No more arbitrary firings. No more nepotism. No more treating people like disposable resources." I outlined my plans: profit sharing for all employees, educational benefits, on-site childcare facilities, the very things Carter had dismissed as unnecessary expenses. "But how can we afford all this?" one executive called out. I smiled. "The same way Horizon Ventures affords it. By valuing our people as much as our profits. By understanding that loyalty goes both ways." I paused. "And by not wasting money on things like the private golf club membership Mr. Carter charged to the company while laying off workers." The final lesson. That afternoon, Thomas Carter held a press conference outside the building. I watched from my new office, his old office, as he tried to spin the story. "This hostile takeover is a personal vendetta," he declared to the cameras. "Emma Carter is using her father's termination from a decade ago to justify—" My phone buzzed, a text from my PR team. "Should we respond?" "No need," I replied. Instead, I sent out a company-wide email announcing immediate raises for all support staff, funded by canceling executive bonuses. Let Carter rant to the press. I was busy actually running the company. Epilogue. Building something better. A week after the takeover, I found my father waiting in my office. He'd been quiet lately, processing everything, but now he held a newspaper with my face on the front page. "The article calls you the shadow CEO, the billionaire who built an empire in secret just to get revenge." He set the paper on my desk. "Is that really what this was about?" I walked to the window, looking out at the city. "When they fired you, I learned something important about power. The people who have it don't want you to know you can take it from them." I turned back to him, so I became invisible. I let them think I was harmless while I built something they couldn't ignore. And now I'm going to show them how a company should really be run. I smiled. "Starting with the employee education program I'm naming after you." His eyes misted over. "Emma, the Daniel Maxwell Technology Education Initiative." I continued. "Fully funded college scholarships for employees' children, plus a special grant program for high school technology teachers." He hugged me then, something he hadn't done since I was a teenager. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Not because you succeeded, but because of how you're using that success. A knock at the door interrupted us. My assistant entered with an urgent expression. "Ms. Carter, Thomas Carter is downstairs. He's demanding to see you." I checked the security feed on my tablet. Carter stood in the lobby, red-faced and disheveled, nothing like the polished CEO who'd fired my father. "Send him up," I said. "It's time to finish this." The final confrontation. Carter burst into my office minutes later. "You think you've won? You think you can just walk in here and take everything I built?" I stayed seated, calm. "Everything you built? You inherited this company from your father. The only thing you built was your golf handicap. You smug little—" He caught himself, trying to regain composure. "I have friends in this industry. Powerful friends. They won't do business with you." "You mean like Anderson Tech or Global Systems?" I pulled up their logos on my screen. "Horizon Ventures acquired them last year. Your powerful friends already work for me." I stood up. "Face it, Thomas. You're not just fired, you're obsolete." He slumped suddenly, looking old. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," I replied. "You're not important enough to want anything from anymore. Security will escort you out. Don't come back." After he left, my father shook his head. "Was that necessary?" "Yes," I said firmly. He needed to understand that the power he abused for so long is gone. That the people he looked down on now look down on him. I picked up the newspaper with my picture. But you're right, this wasn't just about revenge. It was about proving that success doesn't belong to people like Carter. It belongs to people who work for it, who build something meaningful. The future. The next day, I called another company meeting. This time, I didn't talk about the takeover or Carter. Instead, I outlined my vision for Carter and Maxwell Technologies. Research initiatives, community programs, employee development. 10 years ago, I was an intern with a plan, I told them. Today, I'm your CEO. And I got here by understanding something Carter never did. A company is only as strong as the people who build it, not the ones who inherit it. Looking out at their faces, from executives to maintenance staff, all equal in my eyes, I saw something Carter never had: potential. So, I concluded, who's ready to build something amazing? The applause was deafening. As I left the stage, my father caught my eye from the front row. He wasn't just proud now, he was inspired. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying something. Sometimes it's about building something better in its place. Carter had taught me that, though not in the way he intended. I returned to my office, not Carter's anymore, and got to work. There was still so much to build, so much to improve, and this time everyone would know exactly who was in charge. The quiet intern had found her voice, and she had quite a lot to say.